Hello everyone, my name is Via, and in this video review we're going to be taking a look at the MakeToys Remaster Series Despotron. So here he is in gun mode, but before we take a look at him, we're going to take a look at the box he comes in. So this is a little bit too big for my filming setup, but we're going to do our best here. So you can see on the front of the box, we have a picture of Despotron looking a hell of a lot like G1 Megatron. In the chrome up here, it says Remaster. Down here, it says MTRM08 Despotron. It is by MakeToys, made in China. On the bottom, you have Despotron again, and some stuff I can't read. On the top, another picture of the figure. On the sides, just more Despotron, more pictures of the figure. More here on this side. On the back of the box, we have some more product shots showing off the various features and the posability, and presumably some pretty cool stuff. But that's about it for the box. And in terms of the paperwork included, he comes with the instructions, which are on 2 sheets for some reason. They are rather large, double-sided sheets of instructions, and it just picks right up on the second one. Why this couldn't have been a booklet or just a larger sheet, I don't know. But that's the way they decided to do it. So I can't really say much, can I? I'm not on the instruction team. So, moving away from the packaging, here is Despotron in his gun mode. And he looks like a gun. This figure came out in a time where there wasn't NP36 Megatron, the Masterpiece Megatron 2.0, so the only Masterpiece Megatron we had was that first one, which, yikes, not very good. Kind of gross. I don't like that one at all. So 3 companies took their chances trying to make a Masterpiece style Megatron in scale with MP10. X-Transbots tried with their Apollyon. I was not into that transformation. That looked terrible. That looks like absolute hell. I'm not going to do that. Then there was DX9's Megatron, which looked pretty good in both modes, but I wasn't as into the robot mode. This figure definitely had the worst gun mode of the 3. I'm not into this gun mode very much at all, and I'll talk on that in a second, but it did have my favorite robot mode, which we'll get to that when we get to robot mode. But you can see it is a silver and black handgun. That is what Megatron is supposed to be. Coming in close here, you can see it is done in a nice silver paint. The trigger guard there, the trigger is spring loaded, so it will spring back into place after you pull it. You can see some texturing here for the slide, some texture here on the grip, a little, I think that's supposed to be like a little sling mount. I don't know a whole lot about World War II pistols, because this is based off of a Walther P38 handgun, is what Megatron has been based off of in the past. Let's see, nice silver barrel. We'll talk about the orange plug in a second, because there is something you can do about that. You can see from the back here, this is the only robot cable on this mode, is this little bit of the thigh poking out from here, but that's not too egregious, I don't think. The other side is a silver handgun. It does have some problems with this gap here on the barrel. Looks a little unsightly, and that screw hole probably could have been filled in. But other than that, looks pretty good. It does have P38 engraved here on the back side. You can see the underside has some gaps, but, you know, that's the underside of a gun, which is going to be sitting like this on the shelf. Oh, crap. Going to be sitting like this on the shelf if you even display them in gun mode. I don't know why you would, though. Now, the orange cap situation. Some people have said that theirs has been glued in. Mine was not even glued in. Like you can see there's no like glue residue or anything either there or on the inside of the barrel. When I pulled this guy out of the box for the first time, he like the plug just came right out. So I was lucky I didn't have to do anything really. But unfortunately, this orange plug is the only accessory you get for gun mode, if you even call this an accessory. He does not come with the stock or the silencer, which I don't think I'm too upset about that, because I don't display my figures in alt mode. I display them all in robot mode, and that stuff would end up in a box. I have a big box for all my accessories and little baggies for figures. They would just end up sitting in there most of the time anyway, or in the box in my closet. So it's like, whatever, I don't need it. And I think it would have made the gun look even weirder, because you can see it is kind of strangely proportioned. The grip is very wide. Let me go get a ruler, actually. To bring in my ruler here, you can see the grip is pretty wide. So I cannot wrap my fingers around it, and I have pretty large hands, and I've heard some people say they can't reach the trigger. I can reach the trigger fine, but you can kind of see my grip cannot reach all the way around this grip here. I think it's fine this way. This way doesn't feel too bad. Like I can get my hand around it this way fine, but it stretches too far forward, so my fingers can't actually touch my thumb when holding this gun. And it also is an issue, like I guess with the gun being this big, but I think, and you know, gun people can call me out on this. If you know anything about guns, you can comment and tell me I'm wrong, but I don't think the chamber should be that large. I feel like the chamber is really big for this gun, but again, I don't know guns. I don't know that much about guns, so maybe that's the perfect size. I have no idea, so feel free to correct me. But yeah, the last thing I forgot to mention is the scope. He does have the scope here. It is clear red. If you can see through it, it is a clear red plastic all the way down. No light up features like with Apollyon, which that was really cool. I would have liked to see that. Or the Masterpiece Megatron has noise features. None of that in this. It is just a fusion cannon. Again, not that I'm complaining. I don't really care that much. But, you know, with all of the gun mode's faults, it does look like a gun, which is what it was supposed to do. It looks like a silver and black gun. And I think that's all we really need for Megatron's gun mode to look like. So, you know, no light up feature or electro gimmick is, you know, gonna deter me from thinking that's a pretty cool looking gun. He does come with accessories, but I am going to talk about those in robot mode, as they are all robot mode focused. So before we transform him, let's do some size comparisons. Put him off to the side here. Here he is next to Combiner Wars Alpha Bravo. So you can get a sense of how he scales with standard sized deluxe class Transformers. You can see there. You can see just how tall he is in comparison. He does not scale with these guys at all, which I'm not upset about, because like I said, he was supposed to scale with Masterpiece MP10 Optimus Prime, a figure I don't have. So, you know, I'm not going to whine too much. And, you know, as my other standard size comparison, here he is next to the Figma Kyoko Sakura. So you can get a sense of how big he is in comparison to her. And I actually have another MakeToys figure. It is not from the Remaster series, but there are other series going on at the same time. The Crossfire series. Here he is with Crossfire Striker Manus. And it's not the best comparison because these two are from different lines and not really meant to, they're not meant to scale or look good with each other, but this is just another kind of, I'm not going to try that. This is just another MakeToys figure to kind of get a sense of size. I will be reviewing this figure because it is quite good. I really like this figure. So yeah, and I will compare him to him again in that review. But there you go. And that's about it for the gun mode. There isn't really a whole lot to talk about. Like I said, it is a silver and black gun. You know, my minor issues with it, like the panel lines and all throughout, kind of breaking up the scope, are pretty minor in my opinion because of the main draw of this figure, which is the robot mode. So let's do that. So the first step of the transformation you're going to want to do is remove the scope. I believe this is the only third-party Megatron figure where you do have to remove the scope because it doesn't end up on this slider in the robot mode. It ends up on a different connector, so you do need to remove this to start off. So, where to begin? We'll start off with the trigger guard. So you want to grab the trigger guard, and it is tabbed in. You just want to grab it and pull. You can see there's a tab that goes into a slot right there. You want to bring the trigger guard out and fold it in half here, rotate it at the top, and fold it up like that. That's how you want that sitting. Come around to this side, and there is this panel here that just slides over. All that does is cover up the gap. So you want to slide that over. This panel here at the top, you want to slide over all the way. And that allows you to grab this panel, grab under here, and extend it forward. And then you can pull it up, and there are tabs that will tab into the slots here and here. So you want to pull that up and try to get that snapped into place. And there you have that. Next, we're going to work on these side panels here. So what you want to do is come to the silver section here and untab this like that. There is a tab right there that'll go into that slot. And then you pull this panel out. There's also a tab there that'll go into the, can you see that? That slot right there. So you pull this out and back. And then you want to rotate the silver section back and it will clip into place. Come to this side, and this side doesn't have the silver piece, but it does tab in the same way, and just bring that out. Take this middle black section and collapse it in. It'll just slide down, and then you can take this panel, flip it around, and it will tab in right there. Next, come to the back, and these side panels tab into the thigh and to the silver section, so you want to pull that out. There are 2 tabs and 2 slots. So you want to bring that forward, and then this panel will collapse down on the double hinge like that. Same thing on this side, unpeg it, bring it. This side comes back while this side comes forward. So there is a reason for that, because these become the side skirts. So you push in that panel again, come to this section and pull this all out. That is on a couple of hinges, but you want to pull it all the way out like that. Oh boy, this guy has die cast, so he's a little heavy to transform at arm's reach like this. But next, grab here and extend the handle like that. That will extend out the legs. Come to this panel back here, and there's this little notch to dig your finger in. You just untab this panel here, and then come up here, another little notch right here, just untab the rest of that panel. Bring this whole panel up on a double hinge. You can bring this side of the panel up and over, and it will snap in to form one panel that you can then bring down like that. This figure handles the legs in a pretty interesting way, and that's why the handle ends up so thick, because of how the legs work. On this side, you just pull up the back panel. There's no need to pull up the front. You actually shouldn't. You can bring this out if it makes it easier to bring this panel up and collapse it in like that. So next, you want to come here and rotate his legs so they are facing forward. I like to bring the legs together. To deal with the back side of the legs, there is this panel on tabs. There's a tab right there that goes into that slot, and it just folds up. And then this piece, it's kind of hard to describe how to do this, but you want to fold this up. There are 2 little tabs. You can kind of see them right there and right there. You want to bring this up and feed this underneath those tabs. And you can see how when I do that, the top will end up pointing up. And then when you do that, if you did it right, it'll allow you to just close up that panel like that. And that finishes off the back of the legs. And now for the feet, you pull the feet down, pull the toe forward, and flip out the heel. And the heel actually has little rubber pads on them to help with friction, which is pretty nice. Same thing for the other foot. And there you have the legs all done. Next, come to the back here and grab this section and pull it. You want to grab the whole back section and it'll tab in. You want to pull it up. It tabs in here into that slot, and that tab right there goes into that clip. So you bring this out. Hold on a sec. This guy is getting a little tall, so let's bring the camera up a little bit. Bring this side skirt out of the way because you want to flip this piece up. This will be his other front skirt. Bring this up, pull the whole crotch section up, bring that back, and then you can fold this down to finish off the crotch plate like that. Sorry that my hand is in the way. Bring the side skirt all the way back. Next. Yeah. Okay, so come under here. There's this little piece. You have to open this panel like that and flip out the head. Flip out the head and close the panel back up. And you can rotate that head forward. Next, you can bring this up, come here to the takedown switch and untab it from here. Right there. It's pegged in. Which tabs does it go in? Okay, it's that tab and that tab into slots here and here. So bring that up. There's this little panel underneath that you do want to right now flip up. Right now is really the only time you have clearance, so you do want to flip that up. I do have some unfortunate paint scuffing on mine. That's the downside of this guy being painted in nice silver, is it kind of scuffs a little bit. So you want to rotate this whole section around with the trigger guard like that so that those vents are both facing forward, and you want to slide this whole section over. And then you bring this down, and that clip will clip in right there like this, and then that will clip in right there, and then that tab will go into that slot up there to make the chest. You can bring this side skirt forward and to the side, bring this one back, and then you can take these panels and they fold in on a hinge to just smoothen the profile a little bit like that. And there you have the entire lower body and the chest all done. So for the back, you want to do the backpack now. You take this panel and untab it, and it tabs in that tab into that slot. You pull this over. It is on a double hinge. You want to pull it up on the bottom hinge as well, and now this little tab will go into that slot, and this folds in on that hinge to collapse onto the back. On this side, you do the same thing, except you want to unpeg the barrel from here. There's a peg that'll just plug in right there, and then you can hinge this over like this, rotate that up, the barrel will slide down, and kind of just rotate the rest of the way in, and then you rotate the tip so the iron sight is facing forward. Oh my goodness. There we go. Oops. Yeah, that's a little loose. We'll talk about that in a minute. So, for the arms, they start out the same way. You want to pull out on the shoulder. There is a tab to lock that in. Rotate it so that the top of the gun is facing back. There's a panel here you want to untab from the arm. Untab that, bring it down, right, which will reveal that tab. And then you want to bring this panel in on that double hinge and just push it in, and it will peg in to form the boxy shoulder. And then this little panel up here flips up like that. Second verse is exactly the same as the first. Bring that down, push this in, peg that in, and flip up that piece. Now it's the forearms are where these transformations differ. So on the right arm here, it is a panel that you want to open up. And this is a little hard to do, but you just want to get this panel open. Hold on, I'm going to do this off camera. Okay, so it's open now. And the reason that was so troublesome is due to the way this works. So there's two little tabs there that go into the grooves here and here on the wrist. And you kind of have to bend that in. It's a little tough to get open and closed, but it is doable. And then you want to rotate the hand out, and then there's more grooves there and there that'll go into those tabs. So when you're closing this, you kind of want to put it at an angle so you can push that in like that. And there you have an arm all done. Now this side, I'm actually gonna lower the camera so I don't have to hold him up so much. Push that in. This side, the way this works is you want to open up the back like this. The hammer rotates down. Then there's another panel here that untabs and opens up. And then you rotate the hand around, close up this panel, and that tabs in. Close up this panel, and that tabs in. And there you have Despotron in his robot mode, but of course no Megatron is complete without the fusion cannon, which, like I said, does peg into a different spot because the slider for the gun mode ends up on the back of his shoulder. That's obviously not where that's supposed to go. So another one is revealed here on the arm that just slides down on there, just like that. And there you have Despotron in his robot mode. And he looks very good. Like I said, after watching some videos on him and looking at the pictures of him on TF Source, I liked this one the most of the three. And for the same price, I just decided, you know what, let's do this one. So, yeah, I really like his proportions. They aren't exactly G1 accurate. I think he's a bit thicker, a bit wider. But I really like the way he looks. He looks very dynamic, very cool, while still maintaining the G1 look. It's getting close here on the head sculpt. It is a very nice head sculpt. It is very much G1 Megatron with a little bit of added detail. It's got some black there to pick out the eyebrows and some nice metallic red on the face. Coming down to the chest, like I said before, this panel has some scuffs on it due to the transformation. Some red, blue, and yellow there for his belly. Crotch plate is very smoothed out, looks very good. Thighs done in silver. That red is revealed, a lot more red on this mode than the gun mode, because that red is revealed from the inside of the grip. Big stompy feet. Nice thick black legs. You can see the arms are definitely, they look like silver blocky arms with that red there to break up the middle. Nice black hands that are articulated, which is nice. And yeah, very cool. The back is very clean. He definitely has the cleanest back of those three that I mentioned in the beginning. It's just the panels there and the gun barrel, which is supposed to be there. And even the butt only has those two panels there. And the back of the legs has nothing. It's a very clean looking back. Now, as you could kind of see, since I got him into robot mode, I have been pulling up on the legs because the sliders on the legs on my copy of the figure are quite loose. He will stand if I get him standing, but if I plop him down too heavy, you can definitely see the legs compressing. So what I end up having to do is just set him down really gently, making sure he's all balanced, and he will stand up just fine. The ankle joints on mine are also a little loose. I actually had this guy take a tumble, which was a little scary, from the top shelf where I keep all my masterpieces. He actually fell down. Nothing broke, which was quite good, and I couldn't actually see any scuffing caused from that incident. The scuffing there on his chest was not caused by that. That was due to transforming it a couple of times. You know, that got scuffed. So that was good that nothing broke there, but that was definitely scary. So I did say he does come with accessories, and he does come with some alternate faces. He does come with the standard kind of stoic, you know, neutral face that he has on currently. And he does come with 3 other faces. Could have sworn he was going to fall there. God, got scared. He comes with a grimacing face. He comes with a kind of evil smirking face. And he comes with my personal favorite face, and a nice evil laugh with the inside of the mouth picked out in some dark gray. And the faces are very easy to swap, which is nice. I really like the way they did this. So the helmet comes off completely. You can see it has 3 tracks and 2 peg holes. And this block here has 3 tabs and 2 pegs. So that comes off. And then the face is just tabbed on with a slot. So you can grab the face of your choosing. Oops. And tab it onto the tab. And put the helmet back on to secure it in place. And it's as simple as that. I really like that they made the faces easy to swap. Too many third-party companies make it hard to swap the faces. Looking at you, DX9 Gavolt. If you guys have seen their third-party Blitzwing, that thing is a pain in the ass to get the faces swapped. But this guy is nice and intuitive and simple. And his only other accessory is the Energon mace. So you can see the connection is done and the ball are both done in clear purple, and the chain is made of metal. I would have preferred a posable chain. I know some people are into this. I'm not personally into this. I prefer when I can pose the chain. That's part of, I like that MP36 has swappable chains, so you can have the loose hanging chain, or you can have a posable chain. Now this does attach. It only attaches to the right arm, which is a little unfortunate, but it is pretty simple to attach. You just remove the fusion cannon, fold away the hand, and this simply just pegs onto the peg, and in here it just simply slides in and is held on there with friction. So now he does have the Energon mace, and I guess you can get him to hold the chain in his other hand if you want to get that look going. Like I said, I would be more into a posable chain as opposed to this metal one, but it is nice and it does look pretty cool. And I am glad he included it. This is something I view as an essential Megatron accessory. A lot of the third-party Megatrons come with so much crap. Like, who cares about the clone control helmet or the key to Vector Sigma that even the official masterpiece comes with? I don't care. This is the essential accessory, and the swappable faces are pretty nice. So let's get this off so we can talk about articulation. So this guy, the articulation was the selling point for me. This guy is very highly posable, and I really like that. So the head is on a ball joint. It is a very nice free-moving ball joint that can swivel. He can look up and down as well as side to side. The shoulders are on ratchet joints, so they do rotate all the way around on a nice solid ratchet. And the inside, the in and out movement is just a hinge, but it is nice and tight, so it does hold its positions. There's a bicep swivel, a nice deep bend at the elbow that is not double jointed, just single jointed, but it does get a nice range of motion there. The wrists are on a swivel, and the hands can open and close. They are articulated. These 3 fingers are on just one hinge, and the index finger has an extra hinge there, like that. There is a waist swivel, as well as an ab crunch, a ratcheted ab crunch, which is really nice in getting him into poses if you are good at getting figures into poses. I am not. I'm terrible at posing figures, but the ab crunch has is a ratchet joint and does have a couple of positions. It has 1, 2, 3 positions, and even I, my untalented ass, has been able to get him into some nice looking poses with that ab crunch. Even just getting him standing there, if you like kind of bend the hips back a click and then bend the ab crunch forward a click, you can kind of get him into like a anime thrusting, kind of waist thrusting pose, which is pretty cool, and I like that. Speaking of the hips, first the skirts. The front skirts are on a ball joint and they can move forward. The side skirts can move out, and the back skirts can move out as well. So you can get the ratcheted hips. He can kick that far forward and pretty far back. I think that far back, and the out that much. There is a tight thigh swivel, a double bended knee, which is a nice range of motion there on that knee, and the ankles can pivot up and down as well as pivot to the side. So he is highly posable. Is he as posable as MP36? I can't really say. I think they're about on par, but I don't have MP36. But he has enough articulation for me to be able to get any pose I really ever wanted to get him in. Whenever I've tried to pose this guy, anything I've thought I wanted to do with his articulation, I have been able to do, and that's good enough for me. So about his size, you can see his size there against the ruler. He is a good size. He is a nice masterpiece sized figure, and based on pictures I've seen, he does look good with MP10. I do not have MP10, but I have seen pictures with him next to both MP10 and MP44, and I will say he definitely looks better with MP10 as opposed to MP44. So make sure you look up pictures of that comparison if you're planning on getting him for your collection, because you do want to know how he looks compared to all the Masterpiece Primes. And now for comparison, here he is with Alpha Bravo. So you can see how he scales with a current deluxe class Transformer. Let's see, he's large. Like I said, he is Masterpiece scale, so he's quite large compared to these guys. Here he is next to the Figma Kyoko Sakura. And next to the only other MakeToys figure I own, MakeToys Striker Manus. So you can see how they look together. I do display these guys next to each other, mostly by coincidence. It's just how my shelves ended up being organized. But they do not look very good together because they are going for two different aesthetics. This is a redesign of G1. This is straight up G1. But there you go. And that's really about it for MakeToys Remastered Despotron. I really like this figure. I don't plan on getting MP36 anytime soon, but I definitely don't regret getting him as opposed to MP36. He is still a great figure, and he's way less expensive too. I picked this guy up on TF Source for around $150 USD. I believe MP36 brand new is like 230 something. So yeah, a lot cheaper, and in my opinion, just as good. I quite like this figure. He looks great. He poses great. This is my masterpiece Megatron. If you do want one of your own, I will post a buy link in the description down below alongside my social media. My Twitter and my Instagram will also be linked in the description. Thank you for watching this video review from me, Inovia, and I'll see you guys next week with the next video. Bye-bye.